Hello, I'm Chris Williams from the YouTube channel Read Comics, They're Bad For You. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, on my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about how Sarah Silverman has not only put her foot in her mouth, but apparently she's also managed to piss off all the SJWs in the world. Photos have recently resurfaced, which shouldn't have been that hard because the photos were stills from her show that she had back in the late aughts. You know, the Sarah Silverman show. The pictures show that Sarah had once worn blackface on her show for a bunch of comedy skits. Now, this shouldn't be a big secret. You'd think in this day and age that if anyone had been starring in their show and had done a comedy skit about blackface, that it would have surfaced sooner. But apparently, this didn't get enough traction till now, even though Sarah Silverman has been pining for years how much she hates Trump and white-wingers. So it's no surprise that it would eventually, that the tide would turn and that the SJWs would turn on her as they learn about her playing as a blackface character doing a comedy skit. You know, as soon as the cancel culture had become so supremely annoying and overwhelming to everyone around them, you'd think this would have broke sooner. You know, this story would have come up sooner, and Sarah Silverman would have to enjoy the wiles of the SJWs and NPC hordes as they came at her on all sides. But no, she's a stupid little girl who is, as I've read her tweets and learned more about her, might not be no more mentally sound than a 5-year-old. Here we have the interview that Silverman gave to a reporter named Catherine Shroud. She's trying to deflect from her all the bad publicity she's now getting for her photos of her in blackface. Sarah Silverman has said she recently was fired from a film after producers unearthed a still of her in 2007 wearing a blackface for a comedy sketch. Guesting on the Bill Simmons podcast, Silverman said that she was let go the day before shooting on her scenes was due to start because of the photo taken on the set of the Sarah Silverman show. She then goes on to say that she didn't fight her firing. Sarah Silverman continued by saying that she was disheartened that she was replaced by someone that never struck their neck out for anyone or anything before, not like how she put on blackface and was then persecuted by NBCs and everyone around her for doing it. Well, geez, Sarah, it almost sounds like you're having to go through some bad karma, because this is precisely what you've done. Silverman did not name the film, but discussed counterculture with Simmons, saying that the current climate had left her feeling fearful, much like everyone else when they have to deal with you NPCs or every other demagogue in the social justice circle. Sarah, you're just screaming about and being miserable for the fact that you yourself are guilty of the same things you've prosecuted others over. Yeah. Sarah then continued with, it's like if you're not on board, if you say the wrong thing, if you had a tweet once, everyone is like throwing the first stone. She continued, it's so odd, it's a perversion. It's really, look how bad this is. Yeah, look how bad this is, Sarah. The writer of the article who was talking to Sarah then went, Silverman had previously expressed mixed feelings concerning the skits, telling GQ last month that at the time she was praised for the skit, which enormously increased her profile. Yeesh. Yeah, Sarah, you profited from this, but now you can't. It was like I'm playing a character and I don't think this is wrong, so I can say it. I'm clearly liberal. That was such a liberal bubble stuff, which I actually thought was dealing with the racism by using racism. Gee, you were being a comedian and trying to be funny. There's nothing wrong with that, even though others will say that it is wrong. In 2015, she called it her most regrettable joke, yet she said criticism of the image was based on a lack of information. You know, we have the right to criticize you if you're in blackface or if you're doing a comedy skit, especially if the comedy skit is bad and it's not funny. But being in blackface is something that's well known in Hollywood for one reason or other. Here we have Jimmy Kimmel doing an impression of a basketball player, as well as Chris Rock in one of his skits. And you yourself didn't even spring for getting a good makeup artist to give you a proper African American look, huh? Sarah Silverman. Not even going to spend money on trying to do a proper racist joke? Gee, I guess someone's a bit of a cheapskate. Well, that's more of a thing here where I guess her boss didn't want to spring for the money to do a really funny joke. You know, something that'll really knock them dead by doing blackface and being as racist as possible. But now you yourself are being prosecuted for being called racist because you were trying to make fun of racism by using racism to make it look stupid. Oh, and now it's turned against you. Gee. This all from the same woman who a few years ago thought that there was this kind of a symbol on the road was about Nazism, even though the symbol on the road was for road workers to help them work on the road that they were currently getting ready to repave and renovate. All of that from a woman with a very low IQ who once responded to one of Donald Trump's tweets by continually insulting him, even though his tweet was about someone going on about global warming, even though she was doing her press conference in a snowstorm. Gee, I guess there's no global warming if she's doing that in a snowstorm, huh? And you should not make fun of that. Well, she continues on by saying, how do we stop this corruption on every level, even though it isn't really corruption if we consider a bunch of extreme black activists worse than a bunch of right-wing white activists because they apparently are more prone to violence. Gee, I guess we should prioritize more violent criminals over others if they've been proven to be a threat, huh, Sarah? But she says because they're black, that all of them must be treated equally, and that white wingers must be treated worse at all best. Even if it's been proven that they're at the low end of the violent or criminal spectrum. I mean, they're not good people, or maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know anything about them. All I'm just saying is that she responded to a tweet where something that happened where government officials were prioritizing going after these black extremists over these white-wing ones. If you're wondering how any of this has to do with Sarah Silverman's blackface incident, well, I'm only bringing this up is because she continues to try and white knight over all this stuff dealing with Trump and social justice, but she herself is as guilty as any other SOB slob out there. And I just can't take this from her. Sarah, grow up. We're just ordinary guys like you, so please leave us alone. Continue being a comedian, continue trying to be funny, which I don't really think you are anymore, and try to be kinder to everyone else around you who doesn't share your almost religious ideological beliefs. People who have responded to this tweet have said, to anyone thinking of going woke, remember that the cult will never forgive you for anything you've done in the past that violates their creed. They do not believe in redemption. If you're not pure, you can't join. And I have to say this, Sarah, how does that feel? To me, it feels good. I don't want to be an SJW. And you are, but you now know how it feels to be on the receiving end. It's almost, well, yes, it is karma. Complete and utter karma. Over all the years we've had her white knight for the left, that it's almost so refreshing that I almost can't believe it, that she herself is now getting the same treatment from her supposed friends. Now, Hollywood itself will do anything it will for money, and they will violate their own ethics if they think they can get away with it. Here we have Jimmy Kimmel, as I said before, I'd bring him up again, saying, or at least someone making a joke about it, "Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel, your moral superior, here to lecture you in blackface." Yes, our moral superiors who say that it's all right for them, but not for us. Well, what I say to this, to you and all of Hollywood, Jimmy? Go jump in a lake. Now, if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed to me on YouTube at Read Comics, They're Bad For You, then go over to BitChute and subscribe to Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, leave some comments down below. And remember, keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. And if you could you please share this on social media? I want you to share this video on social media sites like Facebook, and go to Twitter as well to share it there. Because YouTube, I think, is beginning to suppress my own videos as well. And I really want the help in trying to get my own videos out there so people can watch them. So if you could you please share these videos? And I'm Chris Williams. I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.